Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Welcome, everyone. This is Steve Meisinger, your host for today's ISE webinar. Really happy that we have Raghee Horner with us today. She's a renowned author. She trades all the markets, so she spends a lot of her time looking at the markets, whether she's writing books or she's actually trading her own capital. She does a lot of live events where she's out in Vegas and in other places talking about trading, trying to help others. So I'm really happy that we have Raghee Horner with us today. Raghee's going to be talking about using market cycles to choose your strategy. And that's really important because you need to know where you are in the market cycle, whether it's a consolidation, it's a breakout, maybe it's another consolidation that could actually go either way. Lots of ways to use options. The ISEFX options allow you, the investors, to limit your risk, come up with a lot of different option strategies, credit spreads, debit spreads, even volatility positions. So lots of different ways that you can trade the currency markets. And I'm really happy that you're all here today with myself and with Raghee. Just want to remind everyone that any kind of examples that we do today are for illustrative purposes only. So we're not making any recommendations. If you want to learn more about options, you can go to optionseducation.org. You can always come back to the ISE. We have a lot of the presentations archived. Please do that. And also want to remind you that you can trade this product right through your equity options broker. So they're exchange-listed securities. Through any of the equity options brokers, you can access them. They're cash settled in U.S. dollars with European exercise. We just listed 4 new pairs about a month or so ago in U.S. dollars, which means that the dollar is the quote currency. You know, when you're trading currencies, you have both a base currency, which is the numerator, and the quote currency, which is the denominator. So we've added that, and those look exactly like the spot market. So the Aussie dollar, the British pound, the euro, and the New Zealand dollar, they're going to mimic the spot currency or conventions. And we also have our traditional classic dollar against all the majors: Aussie, British pound, Canadian dollar, euro, yen, Mexican peso, New Zealand dollar, Swedish krona, and the Swiss franc. So they're all available. And please go to our website, fxoptions.com, to learn more about that. So, Raghee, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. You know, I'm such a big fan of what you guys are doing. I'm excited to talk about some options. I think the timing is great. And I guess I'll go ahead and get the desktop going.
Please do. Please do.
I guess quick video check, and hopefully you guys can hear me all right.
Yeah, we can. And we're looking at, okay, so now we're looking at the ISE site and a chart there. And you pulled up another chart, it looks like, from your own charting. Yep, there you go. So depending on which one you want to show, but we see your desktop, which is wonderful.
Excellent. Okay, well, I guess we're ready to rock and roll here. So the first thing, again, big thank you to ISE and to Steve, and again, thank you to all you that showed up today. It's a Tuesday afternoon of what's been a few weeks of some unusual trading, but it's not uncommon to see this kind of action, you know, going into the last month of the year. And I'm going to talk about some things that I'm doing in options, the way I trade, and like I always like to open up these presentations. Anytime I speak, I think the only thing a trader can truly share is what they actually do. I'm not going to proclaim my infinite knowledge of options. That's what I've got Steve for. And you know, what I am going to share with you is what I personally do. So I keep my options trading simple, which is not to say simplistic, but simple, and I let the market tell me, in terms of the cycles, what I I should be doing in terms of working with the trend or working with the lack of trend. So I'm going to talk to you about timing today. I'm going to talk to you about how I determine if I'm going to be buying a put or buying a call. I'm also going to mention that I do not write premium. I like to focus my options trading basically on buying puts and calls. So I'm picking a direction. I'm speculating a direction that the charts are telling me to. And what happens when you do that, and you probably already know a lot more about how to take advantage of options than you probably give yourself credit for collectively. The reason I say that is unfortunately, there's a common, I think, misconception that when you start trading options, you somehow abandon what you already do in the markets in terms of if you're trading the underlying Forex pair. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case. In fact, what you're going to find is that during certain market cycles, you're going to have, I think, a better footing in the market with an option. You'll be able to take advantage of lowered volatility in a pair in a better way, I feel, and with lower risk than if you were sometimes to actually get into the actual spot. So that, I think, is really what I want to get across, the fact that you can marry your spot trading and your options trading in such a way that you can get the most out of each. All right? So I'm going to be toggling between the new, by the way, the site looks great. This is the fxoptions.com site, and I highly recommend you guys head over to the site because I've watched a lot of playbacks, learned a lot from some past speakers. It's a who's who of trading, and you're not going to get better or more education available, I think, anywhere on the web. It's amazing. And as far as getting these charts pulled up, we're going to go over a lot of charts here at the FX Options site. I actually use the FX Options site. This is the way I would be setting up my own options trading. I had a couple questions that had popped up here, and one of them was about website. If you want to see what I'm personally doing, I think me, like everybody else on the planet, has been taking advantage of Twitter. And I apologize for toggling so much, but I feel like I'm just kind of trading, so that's what I do in my own trading. But I'm on Twitter quite a bit, and the reason I mention Twitter is because you can actually see what I'm doing throughout the day. I'll post charts, I'll post articles, I'll post ideas throughout the day. So it's a great free resource to take advantage of. My personal blog is also linked on my Twitter website. So this is probably an easy way to not only take a look at what I'm personally trading or setting up, but also you can link over to my personal blog. So both these resources are free, and I hope you take advantage of them. So it's a great way to keep in touch, and I know a lot of people are on Twitter tweeting away. So there's that. Let me see. I think there was a couple other questions here. And by the way, I will get to your questions toward the end of the presentation.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.